And when did they start publicly using the term, like, we're creating a caliphate? And can you also tell people, like, what that was and what they meant by that?
Yeah. So this is really Zarqawi's idea too. So he had this vision of not just being a terrorist group, but he wanted to recreate the ancient caliphate, which is kind of the theological kingdom that existed way back in Islam's antiquity. And his view of the world was that, this was, our birthright. We had this wonderful paradise on earth that was a caliphate back in the ancient days. Western governments and others, corrupt rulers, took this from us. We're going to reestablish it. And he wanted to do it now and not wait for 100 years like Bin Laden talked about, maybe a caliphate in the far future. But he thought he could do it in the here and now, and he felt he was sort of destined to be the one to bring it to fruition. And Baghdadi shared that idea. And once they were able to get an army in Syria and seize and hold territory, then here was his moment to claim the caliphate, would just declare it. We're now in charge of this city called Raqqa. This is like the capital of this new caliphate that's going to be God's kingdom on earth. And that did a lot of things for him. And one of the things he did was to excite a lot of Muslims around the world in thinking that this caliphate thing might really happen. And here's a real place where faithful Muslims will want to live. And so you saw this phenomenon, not just fighters from around the world coming to be part of this organization, but ordinary people, just husbands and wives thinking, we want to be part of this. This is very exciting. And some of them just left their homes and moved to Raqqa to be part of this new caliphate and take jobs as a bank clerk or a postal worker or just anything to be part of this thing.
And that's what's so confusing for like someone in America like me. We've never been invaded. Country's been the same in that way as far as like I can move freely, go to Wawa, get whatever I want every day, and we have a government, we vote for it, we fight over it, but it is what it is. In these places, it's this suction sound at all times, like we've been talking about today, that vacuum where guys just drive in on trucks and they can take over a city if they're powerful enough. And so I always try to picture that in my head. And I'll admit, sometimes even when I'm reading great books like yours or some other ones I've read on the topic, it's hard for me to imagine, whatever it is, 1,000 dudes in these trucks rolling into Raqqa and suddenly like, oh, the post office is now the ISIS post office. Yeah. The restaurant is now owned by ISIS. The business here, you don't do that anymore because we don't agree with that, so we're going to kill you, and then someone else is going to take that building. Yeah. But that's essentially like they a lot of these places, the way I understood it, the blood that would happen would come after because they just kill, ethnic minorities or people who weren't Muslim, but the rest of it would just be like, all right, we're here, and the armies ran. Yeah. Like the nations who were supposed to protect these places essentially didn't put up much of a fight in a lot of places. Yeah,
and a lot of the guys that welcomed these jihadists into their community, some of them thought, this is going to be great. They're going to save us from the Shiites, and they're going to let us, have the kind of freedoms that we want to have, or they're going to restore a religious order that we want. But once a group like ISIS comes in, they're very brutal rulers. They behead people, in public squares and leave the heads, on fence posts, that kind of thing. If you get caught smoking, you're flogged. If your wife walks down the street and somebody thinks that her dress isn't quite long enough, she can get beaten or you can get fined. Thugs from this organization are going to come to your shop and want to extract money from you. And if it's not enough money, they may beat you. And so there's no recourse to the law. It's kind of, it's very barbaric, it's very medieval, and not many people want to live in a system like that.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.